What up, what up, what up? Welcome back to 49 Faithfully. We're your hosts, Miriah Lee and Teran Lewis. TL, what up? Welcome back. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Trying to get back into work mode. I was on vacation for a little over a week, and it was very nice. Got a chance to. It's funny because I'm from California originally, but it's funny. It's the first time I ever got a chance to check out Alcatraz in San
Oh,
Francisco.
yeah.
So that was
Mm-hmm.
so that was very nice. Man, you got to bring your walking shoes. It's like walking around Six Flags. There's a lot of uphill, that you have to go through. But it was cool to see that experience. And I went to the Monterey Bay Aquarium. It was nice. No kids either. So when you go on vacation with no
Mm-hmm.
kids, first and foremost, I love my kids. Don't get me wrong, but you spend a lot less money
Oh, yeah.
when you don't take the kids, and then yeah, you just have a little bit more fun because you're not on anybody's time. It's not, Dad, can we go now? Can we do this? Can we do
Mm-hmm.
that? So yeah, adult vacations are always nice.
Good, good. I'm glad you
Yeah.
enjoyed. Hopefully, if me and Z can get out there for a home game this
Mm,
season, Alcatraz is definitely on the list of things I want to check out.
yeah,
We're
it's
not going to have
very
much
nice.
time, but that's hella something I've been wanting to do for years and years and years. So,
Yeah, if you get a
yeah.
chance, if you have the time, if you can, even if it's just a little bit, what's good about it is that there's a ferry that runs, and you can get on it as often as you want. So you can go to Alcatraz even for an hour if you want. Just walk around, take the little tour, and then get back on the ferry and go back to San Francisco. So yeah,
Oh,
it's a,
okay.
it's a, it's cool. It's a cool experience.
Yeah, that's good. Chat, what's up? Happy Friday. Hope everybody's doing great. Hope everybody made it through the week and had an amazing week. It's good to see you all. Throwback first in the door, taking care of his, responsibilities. He got the wrench now, so he's always in here working. Greatly appreciate you, sir.
Hmm.
Britt, what's up? Good to see you. A new faithful. She said, I don't know, he, they. I saw them over in Brad's chat, and they had told me that they watched me with Steph this past week, and said
Okay.
that they're new to the faithful. I believe they were an Eagles fan or Eagles supporter or of somewhat, um, but they're from the UK and now a
Oh,
part of the
nice.
faithful. So welcome, welcome, welcome. So glad to see you here. Sin, what's up? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Got Dawn in the house. What's up, Dawn? I know she's going to be in and out because she's taking care of some responsibilities.
Good for you, Don.
Yeah. Danny, what's good, Danny? Got Rob in the house. Let's see. Night or sickness. What's good, sir? Good to see you. Rod, what up,
What up,
Rod?
bro?
Happy Friday, sir. And yeah, everybody that's out there that's not in chat, that watches back on replay, what's up? We
Mm.
appreciate you all. Let's start off with a giveaway, why don't we? Hashtag FF. Y'all know the deal. FF for faithfully fam. So hashtag FF to
Oh,
enter the first giveaway. Let me
nice.
see.
I see you, Britt. That's awesome. She she kind of broke down
Ah,
why she's the way she is. Yeah. Yep, I'm female, and and was recruited from the Eagles by Brad. He convinced me to get off the fence. That's
there you go.
awesome.
Yep. I told her it was a good place. We're much nicer over here, I told her.
Yeah,
So,
I agree.
don't make me look like a liar, faithful. Let me see. What are we starting off with here? Let's do. Uh, while I decide, make sure you get in there. Hashtag FF. Let's do this Jerry Rice. Let me take it out of the package so we can see what's going on here.
Britt don't seem like an Eagles fan yet because she's nice, huh?
All right. We got to glare like crazy, but
Hmm.
we got an
Old
old
school.
school Jerry Rice. So let's start off with that. And how about this guy? Since he just got paid, let's show him some love. CMC. Let's start off with those two. Jerry Rice and CMC. Get in there. Hashtag FF to enter the giveaways. All right. So as soon as I'm going to give you guys a couple minutes to enter that, and then we're going to take a little walk down this Brandon Aiyuk trail of breadcrumbs. There seem to be quite interesting things being put out in the media the last few days. So we're going to get into that. Couple things, a few things about mini camp. We are on a quicker time today because TL has to go to work. So we're going to not be giving you guys forever to enter the giveaway. So hurry up and get your asses in there. Hashtag.
I was waiting for that outburst. It's funny.
And especially the first giveaway, we don't give a lot of time anyways, because the early bird get the worm around here.
That's right.
So yeah, let me see. I have some videos to play as well when we talk about this Brandon Aiyuk thing. Because some talking heads I call them talking heads, because we know that there's a part of the 49ers media that it seems the 49ers specifically maybe slip them a little bit of info when they want stuff to get out into the
Public.
to the masses. So
Yeah.
I think that that's what's happening. So yeah, we're definitely going to get into that. Let me draw these giveaways real quick. And then we're going to break it all down. I'm going to play these videos for you. Oh, shit. I'm already starting to run the thing before I even shared it. Look at that. I won't tell you guys who won. Since it don't count. Oh, it's going to show anyways.
Oh, okay.
Sin, it was you. Sorry. I'll give you something extra. How about that? All right. Let's draw, though, for... where did my little thing go? Okay, let's draw Jerry first, and then we'll draw CMC. This is for Jerry. Good luck, good luck, good luck. Good luck, good luck. Brett.
Wow.
See?
Wow.
See what
See,
happens?
you become a faithful and you become a winner immediately.
Charm.
You become a winner immediately when you join the faithful.
Yep. Congrats, Britt. Jerry Rice is yours. All right, CMC. Let's see. Don. Congrats, Don. Let me get these put away real quick. All right, we have a bunch of cool stuff to give away, so make sure you guys just hang around. I'll get the other giveaway fixed here in a minute. Let me get us fixed too up here. All right. So this thing with Brandon Aiyuk, has just been so annoying, especially to me. You guys know me as a Brandon Aiyuk fan has been, like this has been a freaking struggle, right? But up until probably a week ago, maybe, I've been firm believer that Brandon Aiyuk's going to get paid. I still, now I don't like you guys. I'm going to be honest. I don't know if this is just me thinking with my brain, me with my heart, a mixture of both. I still want to believe that Aiyuk is going to get paid by the 49ers. Let's be specific here. But a lot has happened this past week that has made me not as confident as I once was. Now, it's not like the time frame or nothing, because we know, obviously, we've heard it a million times. We know how the 49ers do business. They freaking wait forever to pay their stars. However, we've seen this season, people have gotten paid. CMC is arguably the biggest star on this team, and he didn't have to wait till no time. He just got paid, so Okay, whatever. But there's been some things put out into the media, and I talked about this when I was live with Steph yesterday. Like, there's few people when they speak, I take what they say and kind of stick it in a place for later because there's a reason that they're saying the things that they're saying. One of those people is Matt Mayoko. He is very careful with what he usually says. And he's not going to say something or put something out there that the 49ers are not going to approve of, that the 49ers are going to get mad about, that the 49ers, anything, right? And we know if you saw the state of the franchise the 49ers did, Matt Mayoko hosted that whole thing. So if you think that he's not in with the 49ers somehow, come on. All right. So Matt Mayoko has put out tweets and even done 2 separate podcasts this last, few, let's say we're working with like a 7-day time frame here, mentioning something about Brandon Aiyuk and how he's not as confident and, like mentioning things about it. So he goes on to the radio this week, and I'm going to play this clip. And again, I played this yesterday, but, TL wasn't there. There was people here that weren't there. So let me pull it up here because I thought this was very interesting what Matt Mayoko goes on the radio and says. And again, this is coming from him, and he's very careful about the stuff he usually says. So let me get it started over here real quick. Make sure I get it shared. All right. Hopefully you guys can hear this.
I don't know. This one just feels a little bit different because, they've already paid all these guys. And at some point, the money or the cap space just kind of runs out. And when you have a team full of really good players, teams can't keep everybody. And, you just kind of wonder what's going to happen with Brandon Aiyuk. I mean, do they really want to pay him the going rate for wide receivers, or do they think that maybe that money could be allocated in other areas? Bracing, I guess, for Brock Purdy's big contract. But this offseason, they did re-sign Juwan Jennings to a 2-year deal. They did draft Ricky Pearsall in the first round, and they still have Deebo Samuel for this year and next year. So it'd just be really interesting to see how this whole thing plays out. And it's entirely possible that they don't sign him to a long-term contract and they let him play out the final year of his deal and then just kind of see where it goes from there. Maybe, kick the can down the road a little bit.
Okay, so that's what Matt Mayoko goes on the radio and says on June 6th. Now, let me back it up a couple days while I have this pulled up, because on June 4th, another person that's known to have, be putting info out for the 49ers is Mike Silver. And he puts out this tweet that says, very short version of where things stand with 49ers and their receivers. 1, they drafted Pearsall in the first round. He is a big part of the present and the future. 2, if Aiyuk ends up taking their best offer, Deebo will be gone after 2024. 3, if Aiyuk doesn't take their best offer and presumably plays on the 5th-year option, it's Hunger Games between him and Deebo to see who stays beyond 2024. 4, there's still a chance Aiyuk and Deebo could be traded between now and the November deadline if the offer is good enough and or if things have devolved with Aiyuk. Now, me and Steph stopped it right there and talked about it because that's all that had happened up until this point. However, just in the short time since we got off the show yesterday, Brandon Aiyuk's wide receiver coach has came out and talked. And now Matt Barrows has got on the radio and talked. So Brandon's wide receiver coach comes out and he says, let me stop sharing this so I can see you guys, and I can read this over here. So he comes out and says that, let me see. So he goes on the radio. Now, pretty much they're all going on the radio and speaking for whoever. We know that Brandon Aiyuk's not going to get on the radio and say anything. So pretty much this is his way of now answering back to the 49ers, maybe, to their radio people. But anyways, he gets on the radio and says that at one point, Aiyuk thought he was going to sign. So he was like, I'm not going to come out to work because I might have to go in. That optimistic outlook has turned into a pessimistic outlook. At one point, he thought, damn, I might be leaving soon. And now it's, I have no idea. He then says, if the 49ers want to get BA signed, give him the Amon-Ra St. Deal Brown. Amon-Ra Brown deal. Yeah. I guarantee he'd be there tomorrow. They don't want to do that. If they offered him the Amon-Ra deal, he would be in camp. And then, just to remember that St. Brown signed a 4-year, $120 million contract. A little over 30 million it breaks up to per season. And so then he continues and finishes off by saying it's disheartening because as a player, you just want to get what you feel like you've earned. It's disheartening, and then it starts to make you angry. If I mean so much to this team, what's the holdup? Yeah, I don't get a lot of the targets. Yeah, we have a lot of mouths to feed, but I'm an important part of this offense. You just don't want your best players unhappy when you have a history of taking care of your best players. So I thought that was very interesting because he's saying right there, obviously, this is what Brandon Aiyuk is wanting. This is what he's after. He could have said in the money range of this. He specifically said, give him the Amon-Ra deal and he would be in camp.
Yeah. So yeah, this is a messy situation.
Yeah.
So TJ Hushmanzada, he was a pretty good player, for the Cincinnati Bengals, and then what's funny about it is when he came out and said that, a lot of people were like, I doubt that's what Brandon Aiyuk wants. Nobody knows what he wants except for him and his agent. No, I'm sure Hushmanzada, who's his wide receiver coach, knows, and they talk probably on a daily basis, and that's probably exactly what Brandon Aiyuk expressed. You know what I mean? And what makes me sick about it, and we've talked about this. When we were doing all the shows about the draft, and we had Tony on here pretty frequently. And Tony and I kept saying, "Man, I think he's going to get traded. I think he's going to get traded." And then the draft happened; it didn't happen. So then I was like, "Okay, well, maybe it is going to be a situation where he stays." And then so like you mentioned, you have the CMC holdout, the Juwan Jennings holdout, and they get their payday before Ayuk does. And it's like, wait a minute. And then you draft 2 receivers, and then it was me thinking, well, dang, Juwan Jennings is going to be the odd man out because they drafted probably his replacements. But man, is it really though? Is it really his replacement? Is it Ayuk's? Because you go receiver first round, thinking you can get, the same type of production that you have with Brandon Aiyuk. So that's the situation that kind of irritates me the most. And we've been saying this, and we've been saying this for every contract. It's like, and you, Tony, and I talked about, and we're like, man, we really need to get this deal done before for a Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson gets their payday. And what happened? They get their payday. And you know what it is too about the faithful. They sit there and they dog. And it's funny too how fast people turn their backs on players because they feel, well, they need to just go ahead and sign the deal that they're being offered. No,
Yep.
I don't agree with that. Because the top 10 receivers, and I put Brandon Ayuk in that top 10. I don't care about his numbers. You look at his targets. You look at CeeDee Lamb's target, Jamar Chase's target, and the people will say, even Amon-Ra St. Brown, their numbers were better than Ayuk's with like 60 to 80 more targets. So when you got the fans sitting here saying like, "Oh well, Brandon Ayuk doesn't take over games like a CeeDee Lamb," you don't know that because you don't give him the opportunity because he don't get the targets like some of these other receivers. I
Mhm.
guarantee you put Brandon Ayuk on a team like, well, I wouldn't say the Houston Texans anymore because now they got Stephon Diggs. But if you put him on a team like a Pittsburgh Steelers, let's say for example, you put him on Pittsburgh Steelers, and he's a number one receiver. Guarantee you he's getting 16, 1700 yards and 10 to 14 touchdowns. I guarantee you. Because he's going to be on a team where he's getting force fed the ball more. He's on a team, unfortunately, who likes to run the football. There's nothing wrong with that, but to say that he's not worth that is crazy because he knows his worth. It's not his fault that we're a run first team. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And he's just looking at it as like, you know what? I know what I can do. I'm open all the time. But if I got what he get 106, 108 targets, then you got people like Justin Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb getting like 170 targets. And then you want to compare the numbers. Like it's not apples to apples because you got to look at the target share and how much more these other receivers than the top five are getting the football. You know what I mean? So I think Brandon Ayuk is looking at the situation was like, you know what, give me 170 targets and see what I can do. You know what I mean? Because he can definitely be a number one on more than 80% of these teams.
Yeah.
So, it's an unfortunate situation. And like, I see that Jesse popped on here. Hey, Jace, how you doing? And he's
What's
right.
up,
Like
Jesse?
when you sit there and he does it, so he does an amazing job. But when he started talking about the wide receiver contracts and stuff like that, when you sit here and you wait and you wait and you wait, you price yourself out, to be honest. You know what I mean? So I don't know what's going to happen at this point. Like I said, it's been a mix of emotions as far as my mentals because I don't know, because I go from yeah he's going to be here to no I don't think he's going to be here, and now I'm at the point where I don't think he is. During the draft, I thought for sure he was gone. And here's my thing to end this conversation. If the 49ers don't feel that you need him, or that he or if you're not the passing team that you are, then just get rid of him. Just say, you know what, out of respect for you, I want you to get your money. And I know you hate to hear this. I know he's your favorite player, but at the end of the day, yes, we care about our team. But Brandon Ayuk has been like, he's gone through being in Kyle's doghouse, in his second year, whatever the case may be, to being the man on this team. You can say after CMC, he's probably the most, I mean, well, other than Purdy, but I'm talking about for the offensive weapons. After CMC, he's probably the second best player on this offense above Debo and above
Mhm.
Kittle. You know what I mean? So yeah, it gets to the point where it's like, stop slapping this man in the face, give him what he deserves, or trade him to a team that's going to pay him the money that he feel he's worth. Because like I said, the man is always open. I don't care what the situation. If he's not getting the ball, he's still out there running filthy routes, doing his thing, and the man is open. And like I said, you give him 170 targets, guarantee you he's 16, 1700 yards with like 10 to 14 touchdowns. And like I said, so many fans have been sitting here, oh, on this team he doesn't deserve that. This team deserves. He's not the game changer. He's not this is that. I respectfully disagree with you on that because the man he could be the man anywhere else. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I got to say on that situation.
Yeah. Real quick, let me say what's up to a couple people. We got Peachy in the house. What's up, Peachy? Hope you're doing well. Like you said, Jesse Naylor was here. What's up, Jesse? Appreciate you coming through. We got Denise OG in the house. What's up? Hope you're good, sis. I thought I saw someone. Dustin, what's good, Dustin? What up, Steve-O? I passed by. Let me find them. What's up, Collie? We got Mimi in the house. What's good? Rick, what up? McNiner, I see you. Hashtag smile to get into the second set of giveaways. This set we're going to do Fred Warner and Debo. And then we're going to finish it up with Brock Purdy. Hype. We got Nick Bosa fired up. And we got this numbered Anthony Dixon. So those are the three we'll be ending the show with. So yeah, hashtag smile to get into the second set of giveaways. One last thing on this before we wrap it up, and that was Matt Barrows going on to, again, the radio today. And the statement, that's going around is him saying, I wouldn't say contentious, but it's been difficult negotiations with Brandon Aiyuk. It is interesting, though, that the 49ers used a first-round pick on a wide receiver. He's played well in spring. That's only strengthened the 49ers' stance. The fines will begin to pile up. There's no indication that the 49ers will forgive Aiyuk for absences like they did for Nick Bosa.
Is that what? Wow. See, I didn't even hear that part. That's crazy. So Nick Bosa held out, and he got signed like a week before game 1 or something like that.
Yep.
But they're not going to forgive. But that's excusable. You're going to forgive that, but you're not going to forgive Brandon Aiyuk for wanting his payday. Yeah, see, that right there to me is very disrespectful. So one player can do it, the other one don't, and I get it. You're looking at it as like, well, I value Nick Bosa more because of his pass rushing ability and all this other stuff. But at the same time, you can never be mad at a man for wanting to get what he deserves.
Oh no.
You know what I mean? Like he wants to get what he deserves. And I don't care if there's people are sitting here, well, 30 million, 20 million is too much for a wide receiver. Whether we like it or not, that's the market for top receivers. That's what they're getting. Amon-Ra St. Brown, like I said, Justin Jefferson, now Jalen Waddle, they're all getting paid, in that upper echelon between 26 to 30 million. It's not our money. So whether we like it or not, that's the market. Brandon Aiyuk, if you truly feel he's a top, 7 to 10 receiver, he deserves his money too, regardless of the circumstance. Like I said, you can't help the team you're on, but you still know your worth. He's on a running team. Yes, we rely on CMC heavily, but at the same time, Brandon Ayuk's a very important piece to this offense. And like I said, Ricky Pearsall, I hope he does amazing. I'm not, but at the same time, you can't just sit in here and bank on what his production and think, oh, he can duplicate what Brandon Aiyuk brought to this team. So, and like Collie just said, we still got CeeDee Lamb that needs to get paid. He gonna get broke off. CeeDee Lamb gonna get the bag too. Probably something as close to Justin Jefferson. So, like I said, we're just pricing ourselves out every single day, and regardless, like I said, I respect Brandon Aiyuk so much. I feel like he's been through a lot. Like he's never really sat there and complained, but at the same time, you did it to yourself, 49ers, by not paying him early. Even if you gave him $1 million more than Debo, he probably would have been happy and be like, okay, cool. If you would have paid him back in March, April, whatever the case may be. The fact of the matter is you didn't. Now the market is what it is. Either pay the man or respectfully tell him, and it sucks too. It's like, and I get it, it's a business, but it's like, well, we'll talk about next year, just play on your 14.5 million this year, and then we'll talk about a payday next year. No, because the man's looking out for his future. He might get hurt.
Hell yeah.
Give that man his due, pay him, and just and like I said, and if you're not going to respect the man and his pockets, get rid of him. Just say, you know what, here, we're going to send you to a team who can use you a little bit more because we don't feel that you're, and they're not going to tell him this, but what I'm saying is, they're going to be like, pretty much you're telling him he's not an important piece of this team, that you'd rather pay a Juwan Jennings and bring him into camp before him, which is crazy to me. I think the situation, and I think Danny Medeiros posted earlier, he was just like, it's probably getting to the point where Aiyuk doesn't even probably want to play for this team anymore. I'm sure he's feeling slapped in the face every single day, especially when you see a new receiver getting their bag.
And then it comes out this week that the 49ers were calling in to see if Justin Jefferson was available. So then here's that on top of it all too, and it's just like.
And that's what's funny, Miriah. You call for Justin Jefferson knowing he's going to be more money than Aiyuk. So what are you really saying?
Yeah, so you could afforded, if for some whatever reason the Vikings did say, yeah, you can have him, give us whatever, and the 49ers come up with some package, that Justin Jefferson has to get paid. So you would have the money to pay him somehow. then you have the money to pay Aiyuk. Simple as that.
Exactly. Yeah,
I don't
it
give a
doesn't make
shit.
any sense. Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, I see some people saying about, that they think the 49ers would forgive the fines. I do too. If they did it, they do end up, extending him. I think the fines will get waived. I do believe they did say the same shit about Bosa when he was going through that. They're not going to come out and say, yeah, we're going to take care of all your fines. Please keep staying at home. Like, come on, this is negotiation. So yeah, they're going to say, no, we're not, we're not going to pay your fines. Yeah, that's a part of it. So yeah.
Yeah. Just like, and I agree with the people in the comments and stuff like that. It's just one of those things like, and me B, I get what you're saying on that too. Why we're getting excited when the front office does on the norm. Just because they do that on the norm doesn't mean it's right. But that
And we
comment
talked about
about
the whole show up
yeah,
until now, laid out the
yeah,
breadcrumbs of what's being put out into the media. So that's why
yeah,
we're talking about it.
yeah,
It's a lot different
and
this time around.
yeah, and then what Barrow said, if that's true, and if he's sitting here saying like, oh, what Nick Bosa did was forgivable, but what Ayuk is doing is not forgivable, that right there is crazy. Like that right there would just be like, just go ahead and trade me, because why does these people get special treatment and I don't? And I don't even, and you know what's funny? Ayuk is making less noise about this situation than Debo did when he wanted his money.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody was saying nothing about that. They never said, that's what it comes down to, is when I say that some people put the organization on a pedestal, they make mistakes too. But it goes to show you who Kyle really loves and who he really was just like, if we keep him, we keep him and stuff like that. Because I think Debo's part of the Cabo clique, and I'm not saying that this is the reason. I'm just saying like you can tell he has his favorites and who he wants to treat better than others, I guess you can say. And that's just my opinion on it. You guys don't have to agree. But that's how I feel.
Yeah, Schefter's the one that put out the 49ers one of two teams that were named that called about him. So yes. All right, let's draw the winner for the second set of giveaways. Remember, #smile, last call to get in there. Let's draw these. I agree, Peachy. That's why I said it's very, if you pay attention to the players, to the guys in the media that are actually going on and making these radios, segments with these guys and whatnot. It's very specific, the guys that are putting out this info. The ones that usually talk for the 49ers. So,
Yeah.
All right. Let's draw. All right, I'm going to draw Fred first and then Debo. So good luck. Fred Warner. Maria isn't here to win
Steve-O.
all the prizes. Congrats, Steve-O, because it's her birthday. So happy birthday, Maria. I know that she was going to the Padres game today for her birthday.
Okay.
So you guys are lucky. You got a chance today. She's sparing you guys on her birthday, or else she would probably win every single one. All right, this is for the Debo. Debo. With the old number. Rob D. All right, congrats. All right, let me take this off. I'll get the last ones set up. All right, let's move on from Aiyuk. I'm freaking already nuts.
Irritated.
About Aiyuk. So let me see. Some things that I took from mini camp that, some of the guys that were there in their reporting, had to say. One thing I thought was very cool on the second day most of the starters, they weren't like out there actually, they were all there, but they weren't like out there actually doing stuff, so and we have guys rehabbing and whatnot, right? So on the second day, they said that John Lynch, normally when it's 11 versus 11s, that he goes out into the middle of the field and watches it from there.
Mm,
That he said that that's where he's used to watching it, from his playing days. He likes to be able to see everything out there. And so they said that on this, specific day, they said normally he's by himself out there, but on this specific day, it was him, it was Hafunga, it was Jair Brown, it was Charvarius Ward, and it was Diamador Lenore,
mm,
all out there with John Lynch watching practice from the middle of the field. And then in Hafunga's pressers, when he was asked about it, he said, yeah, it's, you get very good, obviously, little nuggets from a Hall of Fame player. He's like,
mm-hmm.
so you have to take advantage of times like that. Obviously, Funga, speaking for himself, he can't be out there on the field right now as he's
Yeah,
rehabbing. So, what better than to work on the mental game, and be able to get those nuggets from somebody like John Lynch, the
yeah,
one of the best to ever do it at the position, And I love that he was out there with the starting two corners, the starting two safeties, if hopefully Hafunga's right. But yeah, like that's awesome. Could you imagine like the stuff that like you're gonna learn having your GM as a Hall of Fame, guy at that position? Like I'm like
mm-hmm.
that. I love that. Um, another thing that talking about the defense that I liked was they were talking about Leonard Floyd, and he had got a sack or whatever, speaking about that. But then this was said, he's clearly the best defensive end the 49ers have had opposite Bosa, including D Ford.
Hmm.
Could we finally, I know it's just practice, but this person speaking has seen practices, all the practices. And that's, what he's talking about. Regardless how D Ford looked in practice and every other guy from top to bottom, depth wise, starting, backup, it doesn't matter that Leonard Floyd looks better than all of them. Like, could we finally see like what this D line is supposed to fucking look like? Like somebody opposite Bosa that can like attract some freaking attention away from Bosa. And if
Yeah,
not, if Bosa is getting double teamed or whatever, at least this guy can win. Like
yeah,
you have to win your single matchups. We haven't even had guys that could do that. I'm like,
yeah.
dang, like, and we know this guy stays healthy. Like,
That's key right there.
I'm like,
So
yes.
yeah. So before I start this conversation, shout out to Malik Mustafa's mom
Mm-hmm.
for ditching the Cowboys and say,
I
you know
talked
what,
about that yesterday.
after
Yep.
48 years, I'm getting a divorce to be with the Niners. Man, I'm feeling that. I love it. And to all teams, had to be the Cowboys. I'm feeling that. Like that's just
Mm-hmm.
awesome. So yeah, when I just brought it just came to my mind because of the secondary thing. But yeah, shout out to her, man. But yeah, I love that's what Lynch is doing. I'm surprised he hasn't done that often, to be honest. I'm surprised he's not down there on the field, like, you know, doing his thing and all that stuff. But yeah, you love to see it as a GM being down there, in the position group that he's a Hall of Famer in. You know what I mean? Sitting there with the safeties and stuff like that, and sitting there with the corners. Like you love to see it. Yeah, about the D Ford thing. The thing with D Ford, when he was healthy, he was amazing. But that's the issue.
Mm-hmm.
Man was never healthy. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Leonard Floyd, he could be that dude. And I know I don't know if you've ever talked about. I don't think we've ever talked about that because it's kind of came up recently. But Hargrave not admitting he wasn't in shape last year.
Yeah.
So, and that's inexcusable. So the fact that if he's right, if Hargrave is right, and he's in shape, and then he's sitting there, doing his thing, and then we got a Floyd and a Bosa who's also been in camp with no holdouts and all this other stuff. It can be a
Mm-hmm.
scary D line because you got everybody who's supposed to be there, and in a scheme that they respect, and because of bringing somebody from in house. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how this D line is. Floyd, like you said, he's been healthy, like, and he's averaged double-digit sacks, over the last few years. And so, yeah, that's one thing that's been hindering us as an organization, as far as just people being injured and key pieces too. Like, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I love to see what's going on. I'm not saying it's going to be another Alden Smith and Justin Smith type situation. But yeah, this D line could be very scary, especially if the interior is right and they come to play like they know they're supposed to do. Because Hargrave last year paid him all that money, and him to come in out of shape is no, yeah, that's
Mhm.
inexcusable, brother. You should not, like, that's crazy to me. So yeah.
Yeah. Also, I liked that I had heard already and talked about this with Steph yesterday, and that was about Fred Warner talking up D Winters. And
Mm.
then I watched, some of the videos today before the show about, from the media guys, whatever, that were at the, mini camp. And they were saying that that D Winters, no, I got D4 in the freaking thing, that he had an interception and that he looks like way, way better than he did this time last year of his rookie season.
Uh-huh.
And even Fred Warner, he had said, I think I got the quote here. Let me see. Oh, they had asked Fred, which of the linebackers so far has impressed you through camp? And he could have said any of them. He could have talked about all of them, but he only mentioned D Winters
Huh.
and says that he's been the best player in OTAs and minicamp on the team. Not just on the defense, not just
Mm.
from the new guys, not just from the second year guys, not just from the linebackers, on the team. And then said he came in great shape. He said he's on it. He was making plays left and right. And as long as he goes out and works, like puts in the same work that he put in so far in this offseason, in the rest of the offseason, and comes in and has a great training camp, then he's putting himself in great position.
That's awesome. Devondre Campbell, he better watch out.
Yeah.
So yeah, so D Winters, well, last year he was another one that was kind of pudgy, came in a little bit
Mm-hmm.
out of shape and stuff like that, which is crazy. You're trained for the draft, you're working out, but then you were out of shape, which is crazy to me. But not this past year, but the year before. I'm a Wolverines fan, and I watched them play TCU and get the brakes beat off them. And D Winters is the one that stood out. I mean, he had a sack, he had an interception, like he was just all over the place. And when draft time came in 2023, he was one of the guys on my radar. And I was like, man, I hope we get this dude. Like he's just,
Mm-hmm.
and one thing you and I have talked about on the show, one thing I will never worry about with this franchise is linebackers.
Yeah.
This organization knows how to get their linebackers, whether it's in free agency, whether it's in the draft. Like even when we had guys who were less than stellar tackling machines, the Jeff Obricks, the Derek Smiths. Then you got the players of the Julian Petersons, Chris Borland. Played a year and was a tackling machine, and then left. You know what I mean? And then, like I said, Navarro Bowman. I mean, the list goes on. We've always done well. Fred Warner. We've always done well in bringing in linebackers, no matter who the regime is, no matter what. So yeah, the fact that he's actually playing up to his potential, because I thought maybe, he was going to get more playing time in his rookie year, but then I heard
Mm-hmm.
that, like I said, he was a little bit out of shape. But yeah, the fact that he's in shape, he's focused, the game has probably slowed down for him a bit. Man, he's going to be exciting. Like he was my favorite pick last year out of everybody. I love that pick. And the fact
Mm-hmm.
that he's showing out in training camp, I mean that's training camp, sorry, in mini camp, this is awesome. So yeah, the fact that Fred Warner has praised him and not just said on his defense, but said on the team is very exciting. Like it looks like we're gonna get ourselves another steal at linebacker, like we do every single year. So, and
Yep.
like I said, and it's funny. I've mentioned the draft picks. I mentioned, people we brought in, whether it was like Ken Norton Jr., but then you got people like Aziz Al-Shire who weren't even drafted. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like this organization can get them some linebackers, and I love it. I love that D Winters is showing out.
I agree. Hashtag my QB to get into the last set of giveaways. Real quick, a couple things on the offensive side.
Hmm.
One thing about the running backs, from several different people, I heard that Jordan Mason was taking the number 2 snaps, carries, everything behind CMC instead of Mitchell. So keep that in mind. Also, that Jordan Mason now looks like his receiving's hella improved and looks like the best receiving back right now on the team. And then what did he say? That running back, let me see. Oh, and Mitchell is by far the worst receiving back on the team. Now they're putting out there, oh, so keep an eye for Elijah Mitchell to be traded. I just want you guys to know, check the tapes. I've been saying Elijah Mitchell been traded since the fucking draft. The day of the draft, I said, one of these running backs moves, it's Elijah Mitchell. Look for it, people. Keep an eye. Also, Braden Willis is looking like the best tight end too, behind George Kittle right now. Something to look at there. Out of the corner. Oh, I forgot this part of the defense. Let me pull this up real quick. Isaac Yiadom, that he is looking like by far the best cornerback, obviously besides our two starting guys.
Yeah.
So that's gonna look like a pretty good pickup, I think. Yiadom over there. The quarterback two backup battle position is quite interesting here. Now, the first it was funny because the very first clip that I had clicked on, it happened to be from minicamp day 2. So I watched it backwards. I watched day 2 and then I watched day 1, right? So on day 2, this specific person had said that Josh Dobbs is by far the least accurate quarterback on the 49ers. So I wrote that in my notes, right? I'm like, oh, okay, this is going to be interesting, right? Let's see how now, obviously we got a battle here, right? And then I go to pull up day 1 and I watch this video and it says Josh Allen, or is that his name? Not Josh Allen. I wish Josh Allen.
Dobbs.
Brandon Allen. That's his name, right?
Yeah, Brandon
Allen is by far the least accurate quarterback. And I'm like, okay, come on. So I don't know how we can throw around the words by far and say it about both guys. So definitely something to keep an eye on, because luckily, and knock on wood, we can make it through this season as well and not have to rely on our freaking backup quarterback at all. But say what you wanted about Sam Darnold, at least we knew, okay, if something happens or if we're up by 30 points, we can pull our quarterback and at least this guy can go in there and try to hold stuff down. Like, it's not a complete shit show, right? If we have quarterbacks that can't even get the ball to the receivers, it's getting little scary hours if we have to rely on one of them. So, but Josh Dobbs, if we looked at any of his past play, I wouldn't say accuracy is one of the things that come to mind when I think of him. So,
yeah,
definitely interesting.
Yeah, and too, it's one of those things with Joshua Dobbs. Like, I hope, and I'm don't want this to happen, but let's just say Brock Purdy has to miss 2 to 3 games or whatever. I'm confident in Joshua Dobbs to come in and win some games. Like I said, he played very well. The beginning of the season last year, and we talked about this before. I'm sounding like I'm beating a dead horse, but he was one of the few quarterbacks that up to week 5 or 6, I think it was week 5, that didn't even throw an interception. It was him, CJ Stroud, and Brock Purdy. So the fact that he was doing that and looking pretty solid with minimal talent with the Arizona Cardinals, we have talent. We can have talent. So I honestly, if it has to happen, I'm not worried about Joshua Dobbs. I think he's, his game tape shows me that he can handle it if something were to happen. So I'm not worried about that. Brandon Allen, he's just a cam body. I mean, I don't know. Like, I can see him.
They're saying that it's his job to lose. So
yeah, and that's crazy to me. I think they're just saying that because he has the upper hand because he was here all last year and all this other stuff. But I can almost guarantee, I wouldn't put any money on it, but I can almost guarantee that come week 1, Joshua Dobbs is going to be our backup quarterback. because I feel like if they had that much confidence in Brandon Allen and saying, "Oh, he's gonna be that dude," they just would have picked up a receiver, I think, in the draft and not went and signed Joshua Dobbs to come in and be the quarterback, in my opinion. But yeah, it might be his job to lose, but yeah, I think Dobbs, I think he's solid and he'll win that number 2 job.
Yeah. Definitely, obviously this was just a couple days, so there's
Yeah.
not much to take from it. Hopefully each and every single guy gets their asses to work. And we can take a lot more from training camp once the time comes. All right. Hashtag my QB. Exactly, Rod. Everyone looks good in shorts.
Mhm. Or can
Yeah,
look
they were
bad in
talking
shorts
about
too,
how like that there's like these amazing connections in Pettis's first camp, and how they were saying he was lighting it up and all this shit too. And we know what happens with Dante Pettis, so here we are.
He's a practice player. That's what we like to call him.
All right, we're going to draw Dixon, then Bosa, then Brock.
Cool.
So good luck. This is the numbered Dixon. Bebop the Roni. So hot. Dustin. So hot in Vegas, guys. Oh.
Yeah. What is it outside
Yesterday
right
we
now?
broke the damn high record, freaking the hottest it's ever been in Vegas this early in the year. Yesterday. Like, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah.
Congrats, Dustin. Dustin wins Dixon. All right, Bosa. You guys know I love this Bosa fired up card. One of my faves. So good luck. Oh shit. I broke it, you guys. See, it's so
No
hot.
need to apologize, Rod.
What?
No, he said, "My fault, y'all. I was driving but listening." It's all good, man.
Oh. All right. This is for the Bosa. Good luck.
Steve-O.
Steve-O. Steve-O so far is the multi-winner. All right. This is for Brock Purdy.
Hey, Steve, that's actually genius.
Putting what?
He said, "I bought a bag of ice and put it in the swamp cooler. An amazing difference."
Oh.
That's genius.
All right. Good luck. I'm gonna put a bag of ice on my head right now. Denise. Congrats. 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 Let me play this for you all. All right. What's up, Ty? Any closing thoughts before we get out of here, TL?
No, I mean, for some of you that just tuned in, we spent most of our show talking about the Aiyuk contract situation, and to the faithful, who sit there and say he doesn't deserve that because he's not a game changer. I think that's absolute foolishness. Like I said, the market is the market. The market's the market. So I don't care if, you said I wouldn't pay him 25, 26 million is too much or whatever the case may be. Well, that's the market. So if the 49ers don't feel his worth, I just feel like as a man, they need to respect him and say, look, man, we're a run first team. We're not going to give you the 160, 170 targets that you feel like you deserve, whether you open or not. So let's just go ahead and put you in a situation where, because maybe in Ayuk's mind, he feels like he can be a Hall of Famer. Like, he
Mhm.
feels like, man, if you put me in a situation where I'm getting 150, 160 targets, I'm going to do my thing. So, you know what I mean? I just think we just need to either pay the man or find a way to respect him and put him in a situation where he can thrive. I feel like you owe him, and I get it, it's a business. You don't owe anybody anything. You've been paying him handsomely well, for 4 years. But at the same time, do what's right. I want to be known as an organization that does right by its players as well. So people for the future can be like, oh, the 49ers put you in this situation. These players know that you can't pay everybody. So if you put somebody in a situation where they can thrive, just go ahead and do that for Ayuk because, like I said, 29 million, is what he deserves, regardless of the situation. So that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, and then exactly that's what TJ was saying. Like you're an organization that's known to pay their best players, and yet you're not paying Ayuk. Like that's what he was saying, and he's supposed to be one of your best players. So how do you think that's making him feel right now? Pretty much,
Yeah.
like
And
we
then too, I
know the
don't.
time
Yeah.
frame that they usually do shit, but that don't
Yeah.
mean it makes players happy about it. Like we've
Yeah.
heard every single star player they paid every last year. Name them all
Hmm.
out. Fred Warner, Bosa, Kittle. They've all talked about Debo. All talked about how shitty and stressful the situation was,
Hmm.
and how that first year back they played like shit because they weren't there in camp and weren't working with their
Exactly.
teammates like they should have been.
Yep.
So
Every single
that's
one of them played like
that's how
crap.
the organization does shit, and we're supposed to be like, oh, okay, continue to do that and
Yeah.
continue to piss off your stars, continue for them to have a shitty year right after you pay them, like
Yep.
all because we have to pay the guys at the very end of training camp. Like, why? You don't have to do that.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, because at the end of the day, you end up pricing yourself out. So, and you brought up an excellent point. We've discussed this. You got Fred Warner who didn't make a Pro Bowl that year. He wasn't playing like he was supposed to. Nick Bosa was lackluster, didn't play, and people were like, "Oh, well, trying to make up excuses for him and stuff." Debo Samuel, not the player he was the year prior, came in out of shape. So yeah, it doesn't do anything but hinder this team. But like I said before we end, that comment by Matt Barrows would make me want to leave if it's true, because how is Nick Bosa's holdout acceptable and excusable, but mine isn't? And like I
Mhm.
said, he's been more quiet on this whole situation. Like Nick Bosa, give him his props. He was quiet. You didn't hear a peep out of that man. But Brandon Ayuk, you look at his holdout and you look at Debo. Debo was way more loud. But the organization just brought him in with open arms. Okay, we still love you. Here's your contract. But to say that Brandon Ayuk's isn't excusable, we can excuse Bosa's, but not his. I'm not feeling that. That's
Yeah,
crazy to me.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's all we have. Britt, are you on Twitter, X, whatever we call it these days? Yours is going to be a little different because you're in the UK. I have another person that has a UK winnings here and is just holding on to collect some up first because shipping is, expensive, and I'm not just going to pay for shipping to just ship one card to the UK. So normally, regardless for everybody, the giveaways work. I write your name on them. You collect a little bag of giveaways up back here. I usually do mail giveaways out like once every month or so. But like I said, you're in a little bit of a different situation. Okay, so then DM me on Twitter your address, and then I always will send confirmation with a picture of your mail right as it's going into the mailbox so that it'll be on the way. But I'll talk to you in the DMs then about yours, though. And I will be back Monday with Ty for our WNBA Aces show. So make sure if you are into the WNBA, the Aces, you guys pull through. Check that out. And then I'll be back with Steph next Thursday for the Two Goat show. Me and TL will be back next week sometime. So make sure you're around. I do have a big giveaway planned. We're only a few subscribers away from 800. So once we do get there, we're giving away some autograph cards, some numbered cards, So yeah, make sure you guys tell a friend to subscribe, get those subscribers going, and we'll get that giveaway going. I appreciate each and every one of y'all for being here. Much love, fam. Everybody have a wonderful, safe weekend. We're out of here, faithful.
Take care, fam.